All right, first thing we're going to start with is taking these handrails off the back. It's pretty simple. Work the ladder out from the lid. See how simple that is? Actually, you can just work this off the end. And then if you're having trouble, like I am, work it back and forth. And there's your piece. Both sides are ambidextrous, so the other side's going to do the exact same thing. Next thing you're going to want to do is take this screw out right here. There's one on either end. Unlike the other two cabooses from USA, the bay window and extended vision, these two guys here, there are no extra screws from underneath the body to remove in order to get the lid off. Now here's what I do next, and if you're worried about voiding warranty or resale or whatever, then simply don't do this project. I got everything. However, for the wood side, you need to leave these wires here that feed the sconces on the side of the caboose, if you want to light those up, which honestly, why wouldn't you? Now there's no red blinky light in this, so we won't need one of those. I am going to save the original switch. They got cheap and they melted the switch in, so there's no screws holding it in, so we're going to have to solder wires in place. Everything else goes. This, all of the stuff from the lid. I leave the mounting brackets for the lights though. Okay, now here's what you're left with. You have these where you can mount your new lights into. Okay, we are abandoning their original wiring process. Okay, I still need to take these two things out yet, but they're out of the way. We've left the switch and all the wires and the two sconce wires. Now I did check with a 9-volt battery and these do light up. So they're either still incandescent or they're LEDs with an incorporated resistor in them. Now, what I buy is pretty simple. It's from Amazon, and it's a big giant bag of, I think there's 50 pre-wired LEDs in here. We're going to use 3 of these in the lid in place of what was there. Also, this caboose was gifted to me, and on the back door was hanging a lantern. I've decided to add a 4th light, drill the hole in the back light of the lantern, because we're going to light the lantern up, because reasons. In order to make this process even easier, you can buy plugs for 9-volt batteries, also on Amazon. Pretty cheap, actually. So I get a whole bag of those. And it's important for these LEDs, they are the positive has to be connected to positive and the negative has to be connected to the negative. So they are polarity important. You can't wire them the other way like an incandescent light. So when you go to mount everything in here, the only other thing that I do special is the whip for the 9-volt battery is extended so I can open the back door and let the battery fall out on its own gravity-wise to change the battery out. Okay, so what I've done is I've used a hot glue gun, words are hard, to hold the lights into place, and I've utilized this little angle bracket wire channel. I just had to cut it a little bit shorter because of the pre-wired resistor in there. So what I'm going to do with these 3 wires is lengthen it with this piece of wire here. I've got my shrink tube ready to go, because then it will connect to the other wiring that's inside this caboose, which are the 2 sconces, and I added the wire in the back for the lantern, which looks pretty cool when it's lit up. Other than that, now it's making connections. Now, as far as the switch is concerned, and I'm going to see if I can zoom in on that, all you need to do is save the red wire from the middle and the black from either side. I chose the longer wire because reasons. I mean, why not? It was easier to strip because it was longer. As long as you leave that yellow wire that's looped in here, you'll be able to push the switch into either direction and the lights will come on. If you get rid of that loop, it's only, for this case, it's only going to work towards the back. So I leave the loop in there because why not? It's on, off, on. And now because this wire is red, we don't want any confusion. So the hot that's coming in is from the battery. I'm actually going to connect the black to the red. So when it comes out after the loop is complete, when the switch is thrown, it will be a black wire. It would be just like wiring straight to black. So that's the confusion, in my opinion, on these switches from inside USA Trains. When this is the exact same switch that you're going to find in the other 2 cabooses. All right, connections are made. Time for a test run. I like to test everything before it gets put back together. That's the switch forward. Sconces are on. Our little lantern is lit up. All 3 bulbs work. It's off. And then towards the back, and everything's on. So now, normally, this really long whip for the battery, how long this wire is, normally I'd run it out the back side of the caboose. That's the standard on all of my other cabooses. There's probably, well, I know there's over 20. But in this case, because of the lantern, I think we're going to run it out the front door. And so with this method, I got enough wire that if I ever need to take the lid off, I can set it aside, no problem. And I've got this really long wire here. And I'm just going to kind of toss in there like that. I don't care if it floats around. This way I can open this door and get that battery to dump out. And all I got to do is put 2 screws back in, that one, and put the ends back on, and we're done. Okay, a little demonstration on how to get the battery out. Open the door. There's the wire. There's the battery. Look at me struggle. There it is. And now I got this really easy way to access. I know it doesn't really look that easy, but it's a lot easier than taking the ends off and taking the screws out and taking it completely apart. So there it is. Let's run it.